मेरा नाम है शाहिद इकबाल और मैं हूँ होस्ट पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन क्रिएटिव शो का। आज हम रंग फिल्म फेस्टिवल के डे 2 पे आपको मुलाकात करवाएंगे तानिया होशी से। तो तानिया जो हैं वो फिल्म प्रोड्यूसर भी हैं और कनाडा से आई हुई हैं, ह्यूस्टन। तो हमने सोचा कि ये एक बहुत अच्छा टाइम है कि हम तानिया को थोड़ा सा परेशान करें। ठीक है, थैंक यू तानिया फॉर कमिंग।
Of course, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. So Tanya, let's start since it's morning time. So tell me, do you still enjoy chai or you have to have coffee?
You don't even have to ask, of course. I love chai.
Yeah.
It's actually my preference, like the loose tea with the milk, water, some sugar. That's all I need.
Solid.
Yeah.
All right, so 25 out of 25.
Yeah.
When it's lunchtime, can you get by with whatever is selling or you look for Pakistani food?
Okay, I'll be honest, I will be fine, but when I'm at home with my parents, especially my dad, we can't have anything other than Pakistani food. Like, we will actually drive all the way to Brampton, which if anyone knows Brampton, that's the place to go for the best Pakistani and Indian food. And we will find ourselves there, definitely, at least once a week.
Zabardast. 25, 50 out of 50. All right, then last but not least, let's say it's evening time, all right, and you got to go to this nice party.
Yeah.
Would you make an effort to wear desi or would you prefer Western?
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, if I'm at like a wedding, for example, whether it's a Pakistani Indian wedding, of course I will wear my desi outfit. I will wear the sari or the lehenga. There's no doubt about it. But if it's like an office function or whatever, like, yeah, I don't mind dressing Western. I enjoy that too. But in fact, recently I went to a festival where I knew everybody was going to be wearing desi outfits. So I made sure that I grabbed the clothing that I bought from my recent trip in Pakistan, and I made sure I represented.
All right, so there you have it, right? Canadian-Pakistani, you guys decide what we should give her in score, right? All right. Okay, Tanya, so happy and glad to have you here. Rung Film Festival Day 2, your film, They Will Be Brave, will be showing tonight. So let me just start with why film? Why did you choose to do this? What was your inspiration and how was that process in the beginning?
I think just why film kind of stems from just when anybody was younger, really. Like for me, like migrating from Pakistan to Canada, like the only way it really made sense of like what I was going through, like immigration, the challenges of it, was by telling stories. So I would like every night I would tell my brother random stories I would create, and it was almost like an escape from our actual like reality. And I think that's kind of what really just built my skill sets as a storyteller as I got older, and I really enjoyed that level of escape it almost created, where you could create different worlds, different characters, or sometimes just add influences from your own life into a beautiful story that hopefully makes people feel something. And what I love about cinema and film is the fact that you can combine the the beautiful audio and the beautiful visuals, and hopefully make the audience feel something, want to change something, or at least leave an imprint on them as they walk outside of that theater. And that's what I really love about it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So the second question is, being from the Desi family, how was the family's reaction?
Oh, to becoming a filmmaker?
Yes.
You know what? Oddly enough, not bad. I was very lucky. Both my parents, they're Parsi Zoroastrians, and even in our community, there's always that expectation. Almost like you just expected that they'll expect you to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer.
Yeah. By default.
By default. I mean, there's literally people in our community whose last name is engineer, right? So
I know. Yeah.
So many engineers. So contractors, exactly, and doctors. That's also a last name in the community. So I think that's always been like somewhat an unspoken truth that like most Parsis should become one of those professions. And actually, surprisingly enough, there's a huge amount of Parsis who are also very creative. They're filmmakers, they're artists. I mean, Jimmy Engineer from Pakistan is a really well-known artist.
Absolutely.
And my parents were always okay with it. Honestly, for them, it was just like, do what makes you happy, but make sure you're also taking care of yourself financially and you have the opportunity to travel. And they didn't just want me to like make art and then not have that experience as well. So I always tried to balance the both. And being the oldest sibling, the oldest daughter in that family, I've always been very responsible. So, I always had a corporate job that paid the bills while making my films on the side. And I don't regret that because it allowed me to actually have the finances to go abroad, expose myself to different cultures and experiences, which influence the kind of content that I make as a filmmaker.
Absolutely.
So they've always been supportive, and honestly, I don't think I would have been able to do it without their support.
That's so good to know, because I think in the last 20 years or so, I think there have been many Tanya Hoshis who have decided to delve into film and liberal arts and media, and it's refreshing to know that the families are now more understanding and open to different careers than just being, doctor and engineer. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So Tanya, so tell me, what were the main challenges? I know you, being a woman, you worked on We Will Be Brave, which is about men, right? And their stories and their backgrounds and their challenges. Why that?
Of course.
Do you think these men don't get enough attention, or don't come into the mainstream media, or our stories don't come out, or was it something more?
I'm so happy you said that, because that's kind of how I also approached it at first. And I think even Chrisanne, so Chrisanne Hessing, who's the director of the film, she actually came to me with the concept of this documentary. And it all stemmed from back in 2017 with the whole Me Too movement that was going on globally, especially in North America. Right. You were hearing lots of stories of women coming up and talking about, all these experiences they've had that have been so negative. And through that conversation both of us were having, we were like, what are men talking about during this time? And what are they going through? Because so often we think, they have everything. They have so much privilege in life. They have the best life. They possibly can't have anything negative going on. And I think through the process of speaking with these men that are in the film, we slowly learned that, actually, men often don't have it easier as we think they do. They actually are commonly told to suppress their emotions. They're not actually encouraged to be open about how they're feeling and what they're struggling with in order to appear strong and, masculine. And as a result of that, a lot of them bottle it up, and it actually becomes so much worse down the road, and really does affect their mental health and their overall quality of life. And I think through that process, it was so beautiful that we have these group of men called the Good Guys in the film, who have created this collective that allows racialized men to get together in a space to open up and share their feelings, talk about their struggles without ever being made ashamed for it or punished for it. So they're essentially, the Good Guys are showing men you're not disposable. Just because you've made mistakes in the past doesn't mean that your life is over. We're here to talk to you and make sure you have another chance at life and you improve. And I think it's beautiful they gave two women a chance to tell their story, which has always been so incredible for me, because it was my first thing I told Chris. I'm like, how are they going to tell us to tell their story? Don't you think they want a guy to tell this story? And I think because we got their blessing, it was really nice, because they said, we want women to be a part of this conversation. We can't move forward if women aren't a part of that. I think it has to be us working together to move forward. And that's how it came to be. And I think, honestly, it's made me more open-minded about men and men's health. It's made Chrisanne more open-minded about it. And it's been a beautiful kind of partnership between the both of us, myself and Chrisanne as the filmmakers, and then the Good Guys as the participants and the subjects of the film.
Absolutely.
And,
No, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Chrisanne. And I think, folks, if you miss it on our festival, you will have to wait for another festival, or whenever they decide to release it. So that project finished. What is it that you still not have been able to do, or wanting to do, or think that you would do in the future?
Well, for me, as a Parsi, I've always wanted to make a film about my community. It's something that's always been in the back of my mind, and I think it's almost like the universe just knew that, because Saadia Ukeli, who approached me several times over the past year and a half, being like, hey, I'm making this film about Bepsi Sidhwa. For those of you who don't know who Bepsi Sidhwa is, she's one of the greatest Pakistani writers ever. And she's had incredibly award-winning novels out there that have been produced into films, and she's making a whole documentary honoring her and her life and her works. And I was like, I want to be a part of this, but I'm working full-time. I have a whole feature film I'm working on. I won't be able to do it justice. But now that We Will Be Brave is out there in the world, and I do have some time to start developing, and I'm producing full-time now, I was like, hey, this is the project I want to hop on. Sign me up. And this past January, I've signed on to be a co-producer on the film Bepsi, and I'm so excited. It's going to be incredible once we release it out into the world, and it's an incredible story about a woman I absolutely look up to. And I'm so excited for, other people out there to finally hear her story.
Absolutely, and it's been a long time coming.
It is, yeah.
More power to you. Congratulations
Thank
for
you.
for joining that team, and we'll be waiting to hear more about it. Right. So now, tell me a little bit about how has your community reacted to you delving into films? Like sometimes different communities, maybe your parents have been more in the Western world, but the whole community hasn't been in the Western world, living here. So, what was the reaction from the community?
Just like the Parsi Zoroastrian community,
Yes.
they've been incredibly supportive. I've never ever seen anyone not support the arts in that community. They love it, like indulging in it. They love supporting in it. They're huge fans of the arts. In fact, I'm actually a member of FAZANA, which is the Federation of Zoroastrian Associations of North America. And they gave me a scholarship a couple years back for the arts. And it was to encourage me to use that money and make more films through it.
Right.
And it really helped me a lot because I've been able to do that as a result.
Yeah.
So they've been nothing but absolutely supportive. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this community that is, all over the world, essentially. But we have our roots in Iran, in Pakistan, in India as well. And they've been very supportive of other people in the community who are creating artworks, who are creating films, who are dancers, who are actors. There's so much talent in the community. And yeah, I'm so proud that I'm part of one that, really supports it and helps it flourish.
Wonderful, wonderful. So coming back to the festival question, Tanya, thank you for flying down here on a stormy weekend in Houston with all the humidity. So how has this experience been for you, meeting everyone to the very first Pakistani American Film Festival?
I mean, I'm so happy to be here. Honestly, it's a privilege to be at the inaugural festival, and everyone has been just so warm and welcoming. From the moment I got here, people embraced me, took me into a room with all these other filmmakers. We already exchanged our contacts. We've been sharing our films with each other. It's been nothing but incredible, and I'm so grateful for that, honestly. I was really scared coming in here, not knowing anybody, and scared I'd be like that one person in the corner, just quietly observing, but that hasn't been the case. And I just feel like I'm going to be walking away here with an incredible network of incredible Pakistani American filmmakers, Pakistani Canadian filmmakers, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of us start working together on projects in the future. So I think that's really the success of this film festival is that you've just really brought in so many incredible artists and producers, directors, actors, writers, and they are the people I want to work with in the future. And I mean, all the power to Pakistani filmmakers, right?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So let me just go a little bit deeper on that. So you were also present in some of the panel discussions here. Would you have some feedback on that, the panel discussions that took place here?
Yes, I went to one yesterday. I got to observe. It was about the kind of behind the scenes of filmmaking. No, it was really great because, for me, it was my first time being exposed to producers that have created a lot of content in Pakistan. And I actually approached Rafi afterwards. He was one of the panelists, and I told him, I'm like, I really admire the fact that you've been able to produce so much content in Pakistan, really successful content. And we were kind of chatting about how it would work to be co-production in the future, where you would have a Canadian co-producer working with him to create some more content in Pakistan. So it was really nice to get that feedback from him. And I think it goes to show that these panels are so accessible. Even after the panel's over, we can go and talk to the panelists and make, hopefully connect with them, and hopefully something like that flourishes in the future as a partnership.
Absolutely. And and that was the whole idea of even inviting the Houston Film Commission. So all the efforts that people like you and others are working on, let's say the Bubsy project, living in Houston. So anything and everything that this festival can facilitate, in terms of making filming in Houston and Texas, easy. So that was also one of our objective. So, well, I think the only enemy is time, So, but thank you very much for this candid, talk with us. And I hope that this will not be our last podcast. And if any other future endeavors bring you into attention, do let us know. We'd like to cover those too.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. All right.
Take care.
Thank you, Tanya.